Hey everybody, welcome to the Quick Talk Podcast. My name is Joshua Latimer, and as you know, my job is to try and deliver relevant value to you to help you in your small service business. Today, I'm excited because I'm joined by someone I've never met before except for the pre-interview call. His name is Ryan Wilkins, and he has a killer business down in Florida, and he's one of the speakers at this year's huge convention, and we're continuing our little process of me introducing you guys to all these different dynamic speakers. They're going to present. They're going to help you with your business. Ryan has a crazy cool story, and he specializes in some very interesting things that are going to help your business, but I'm going to let him explain that. First of all, Ryan, thank you for joining me. How are you down there today?
I'm doing great. It's a little bit warm out today, but everything's going well. Thank you.
It is really hot here too. I'm in Costa Rica. I don't know if I told you that, but it's 100 degrees out today, and it's just absolutely brutal. Yeah, it's getting bad. But Florida is very similar. It gets crazy hot. So, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and your background?
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, my name is Ryan Wilkins, and many of the PWRA guys have met me at the shows. But I'm the owner of Beacon Roof and Exterior Cleaning, and we're based out of Melbourne, Florida, which is along the Space Coast. So if you know where the shuttle launched and all the rockets launched for all those years, that's exactly where we're at. I started the company over 10 years ago now. This is year 11. And we specialize in government and commercial cleaning. We're very fortunate to have NASA, the Air Force, and a number of government contractors in our service area. And we found a niche to get in and working with them and to do a lot of really cool things. Not just the cleaning part, but it's a really cool experience to work on NASA property, the Air Force, cleaning runways, cleaning enormous hangars for some of the biggest airplanes in the world. But we found a niche through, some really good marketing, not just the marketing, but networking. A lot of these employees who work for the government agencies, they kind of flip-flop and they stay within government contracting, but they bounce from company to company or agency to agency. And, once we got in with those folks, that is really where we took off about 5 years ago. And since then, there's 5 trucks on the road daily, and there's always at least 2 or 3 trucks on one of the government contractors' properties cleaning day in and day out.
That is absolutely incredible. I mean, seriously, that is so cool, man. I mean, you guys are doing work for NASA. I mean, who can say that? That's insane. But even more importantly than the cool factor, you're really hitting on something that all of us can apply to our businesses all over the country, and it's how to, I'll use your word, network, and the process involved, and how do you even get relationships to get accounts like that? I mean, that's what you're going to be sharing in your presentation, correct?
Absolutely, and it's very similar to the presentation that I gave last year. I'm going to talk a little bit more about local municipalities, local government, state government, and some federal government as well. I know not everybody has a NASA or an Air Force base in their hometown, but everybody has a municipality or a township, obviously a state government. And these agencies are always looking for things to be cleaned or to be maintained, whether it be a one-time cleaning of walls along a highway or common area sidewalks in a downtown area. These companies, or these agencies, I should say, need cleaning. They need our services, and there's a way to get them. And
they, a lot of these government, municipal and federal and local and whatever, they have just as hard of a time finding the right types of contractors as contractors do finding them, I would guess, right?
They do. As our industry, we have a lot of really good professionals that come to these events, like the huge convention. And we know there's also a lot of fly-by-night guys out there, especially where I'm at in Florida, who have given our industry a bad name. So I can't say they all, but a lot of these agencies have a bad taste in their mouth from fly-by-night, splash and dash type companies. So again, that's part of the class I'll be teaching, is how to acquire the business, how to get on to utilize different websites and different type of avenues to get the work or to bid the work. And once you're in with them and you prove to them that you're professional, you're kind of in forever. As long as you don't, take advantage of them They will use you forever. You'll make an honest living, and you'll have work for a long time.
Yeah, I found that to be true actually in my company too, because we did work for local municipalities, not a ton, but we did regular work for 2 or 3 different cities and things. We did work for the federal government, which I had mentioned to you before. It was this huge cemetery, like a federal, like a national, gigantic cemetery thing. And that was just a really cool process to go through the bidding process to get that. But once we got in there, we were locked in, man. We've had that account for years and years now. And then we've also done work for the big 3 automaker. I mean, the first contract that I got that was worth $250,000 for one cleaning account was with one of the big 3 automakers. But the whole process is different, right? Can you speak briefly on how different it is to go through that process and how important it is to manage the relationship thinking long term, because it can take a long time for these deals to develop, and sometimes people don't stick with it long enough or they're too short-sighted. Would you agree with that?
I agree 100%. Excuse me. A lot of these contracts, we give probably over $2 or $3 million every September and October in bids and in estimates to these different agencies, because they are trying to set up their budget for the next year. They're trying to, lots of money, funding for the next calendar year's cleaning. So one thing that I've always preached is patience. You have to have patience, because it's not a residential sale. It's not going to, hey, Mrs. Jones, here's the price. I'll follow up tomorrow. And typically Mrs. Jones knows by the next day or two whether she'd like to use your service. A lot of these government agencies, it could take them 6 months to a year before you ever hear back to them. And a lot of times you feel like you're failing. You feel like you're overpricing it, or you're way underpricing it, or you have all these thoughts going through your head where really you just have to have patience. Patience is a virtue in all aspects of life. But with these government contracts, it takes a lot of time to get them. And again, once you do get them, maintaining them is another beast in its own. For us on the NASA side, we have to update them quarterly with the chemicals that we're using. We have to update them with all of our employees. We mentioned earlier, prior to the podcast, about all of my employees have to have top secret background checks to go work on certain areas on Cape Canaveral. Again, that could take 6 months to a year. So, I have employees that are impatient too. They're wanting to work out there to make a better wage, et cetera. But, even if it's the municipality side or NASA, one of the most exclusive agencies in the government, you just have to have patience. And once you do have them, if you treat them well, you're going to have them forever. It is tough to maintain some of them. As I mentioned, NASA and some other agencies, they want quarterly background checks for employees, driving records, drug tests for some of the schools that we do. And schools is another topic that we touch on in the class. We have the contract for the local school board. We clean all the schools, and that's a very tough background check as well. And they want to maintain certain things as well. So maintaining them is just as tough as getting them. So it's a lot of work. But there's a lot of profitability, and there's also a lot of pride once you do get the jobs and get the contracts. It makes you feel better and makes you, I don't know how to say it. As we talked about before, my employees are probably just as proud, if not more proud than I am. They like to brag to their family and friends that they're doing work for certain agencies. But it is a beast in its own to maintain these projects.
Yeah, well, there's so much I want to comment on what you said, and how cool is it though to be able to say, we did some work for NASA this weekend. That's awesome.
Yeah, and in fact, 2 weekends ago, we did. It was our first time. It took a year to finalize it, but NASA and FPL, which is Florida Power and Light, they've collaborated on a solar farm program on NASA property. So the panels have been in for a year, and once they were put in and installed, they came to us and wanted to get onto a maintenance program to keep them clean with all the salt water in the air, a lot of birds on the coast, bird droppings all over them. But again, how we spoke about, touched briefly on, it took us a year to get this contract, and we finally just did it 2 weeks ago. It was a 3,000 panel solar farm on NASA property. and my employees, and myself included, my employees were super psyched to be out there doing it. They had such a great time, and they take pride in it. Doing residential gutters and roofs and driveways, which we still do every day, can be monotonous. But doing these specialized projects, not just myself, but the employees really take pride in it. They love being out there, it is a really cool thing to work on NASA property or anywhere, Air Force property, or even the school boards. The employees I have really take pride in all of it.
Well, it really separates your company from the pack. I mean, it's not every day that you land accounts like this because, like you said a few minutes ago, people don't have the patience. They don't know where to start. And I think another thing that holds people back is fear because, honestly, this stuff is terrifying when you haven't done it yet and you're just going to start out doing it. I know, for example, with the large contract that we got, the first real big one, you're terrified when you submit the bid, and then you're more terrified when they actually award you the bid because now you're like, oh my God. I probably did it wrong. Because you're outside of your comfort zone. There is a little bit of unknown there, but guys, you just got to go for it. And if you come to the huge convention this year, you can connect with guys like Ryan who are doing this stuff every day. Where are you going to be able to meet someone like him face to face, shake his hand? He's going to provide value to you for the cost of a cheap ticket. I mean, good grief. If you have any interest in growing your business and separating yourself, you've got to show up to this event. Ryan, do you have any final thoughts you want to share with everybody?
Just that, a lot of the guys have taken my class last year, guys and girls, I should say. I apologize. It'll be similar. I have a couple new things this year, but we are going to touch on, something we didn't speak of, and I don't want to take up too much time, but insurance and insurance requirements have gotten crazier and crazier with the municipalities and government. We're going to touch on insurance. We're going to touch on the websites and different outlets where you can get access to these bids that are out there publicly. We're going to talk about employees, some background check type of issues that I've ran into in the past couple of years. It's tough to. We use an online background check software that we use to just check simple driving record and simple criminal background, but it's completely different when it gets to the federal government side. So I got some really cool tips on that. But like I said, mainly it's going to be where to find these jobs, the insurance requirements you're going to need to have, and some background and testing products for all the employees.
Well, it all sounds good. It's all highly valuable. Why do you think people should attend this year's event? You've been to some other huge conventions. They're amazing. It's such a unique experience because we focus so much on the business side there. What is a couple reasons you think people should go?
Well, I think the huge convention separates itself from others, and I've been to a number of them. I think, as you just touched on, it is more about growing the businesses. It's more about educating the owner-operators in our industry, not so much about how to pressure wash a sidewalk 101. We've all figured that out. We've all figured out how to do that. We've all figured out how to clean a window. We've all figured out how to clean a roof. But what the huge convention focuses on is training, the other things about the industry, not just how to clean something. It's the training aspect of it. It's networking. The networking is amazing. And like I said it before, the training is by far number one, what needs to be done for our industry to keep us as professionals, not just a bunch of fly-by-night contractors.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Everybody, if you haven't got a ticket yet, the prices are going to be going up very shortly. This is a very large event. It's well worth it. Ryan, thank you for connecting with me. I'm excited to get this out so people can get excited about your presentation this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Let me ask you a question. Are you even remotely considering going to the huge convention this year? Well, if you are, I've made a special deal for Quick Talk listeners. You're going to save $50 off the ticket price. Now, everybody else is going to pay normal price, but not you. Go to thehugeconvention.com/Quick Talk and you save $50 right off the price. Now, remember, this is not a cost, okay? It's an investment. This event is absolutely incredible. The second thing I want to announce to you is the new release of the Growth Vault. Now, the Growth Vault comes from all the requests I get from people wanting coaching and training, and how do I get this webinar and this teaching you did 6 months ago, and what about these special interviews you do, Josh? I want to learn. I want to grow my business. I put everything into one repository. It's totally free. There's no cost. Go to thegrowthvault.com. There's loads of content on business building, automating, scaling, and building a business that you could sell. Check it out right now, completely free. It's my gift to you. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for hanging out, friends. And from all of us here at the Quick Talk Podcast team, we hope you loved today's show. We hope that you were inspired to become a doer and not just a listener. Apply what you've heard today in your own business and watch things change for the better. Lastly, remember that all the money in the world can't save your soul. Seek first the kingdom of God, my friends. We'll see you next time.
For more information about the Quick Talk Podcast or Joshua's other businesses, visit our website, quicktalkpodcast.com. Have a blessed day.